let's take a look at different types of artificial neural networks before we get into large language. So this is chapter number 2. Chapter number 2 is focusing on different types of artificial neural networks. So let's get started. So the first type of artificial neural network that I want to talk about is called feed-forward neural network. And you will hear this term in generative AI quite often, feed-forward neural network, because this is used in the transformer architecture, and transformer was the basis of this entire invention of generative AI. So feed-forward is a neural network, the key component of it. At high level, feed-forward neural network, if you look at this diagram, there is an input layer, there are hidden layers, and there is output layer. The meaning of feed forward is, as the name suggests, the information goes in only in one direction. It goes from input layer to the next hidden layer to the next hidden layer to the output layer. Information never goes backwards. It's only flowing in one direction. That's what feed forward neural networks mean at high level. Now, there's another type of neural network called recurrent neural network. The principle of recurrent neural network is a little different from feed forward neural network. If you see here in the diagram, there is an input layer. There is a hidden layer number 1, hidden layer number 2, and there is output layer. Now here you see information is coming from left to right, but also in hidden networks, the output of this neuron is going back to the previous layer. That's the key difference. In recurrent neural network, the output of the neuron is fed back to the previous layer, and that is used in the future for that network to perfect its answers, perfect its output. So it learns from next neuron that, hey, the output that I provided to the next neuron produced the different result than I expected. So it learns from that. That's the principle of the recurrent neural networks. Then the third type is convolutional neural network. And these are generally used in image processing very heavily, or signal processing. In here, there are some learnable biases and weights are assigned to the neurons to begin with. That's the key understanding of convolutional neural networks. Then the fourth type is radial basis function network. This one essentially has only one hidden layer, and one hidden layer is essentially built on RBF function. And RBF functions, which are radial basis functions, are excellent at approximation, and that's why they result into very high learning speeds. So these are used in very specific purpose. But at high level, what you need to understand about this is that they have only one layer, a hidden layer, and they use RBF function, which are good at approximation. So that's about RBF. Fifth one, this is very important for you to understand, is called encoder-decoder network. These are used in transformer architecture. So it's important for you to understand this. This one has two networks. There is an encoder neural network and there's a decoder neural network, or encoder network and decoder network. And encoder network takes a highly structured map of input, and decoder decodes that and produces another highly structured map of output. And the highly structured map example could be, you have a text that is written in, say, English language. You feed that to encoder. Encoder encodes that text from English language, which is highly structured input. And then decoder takes that and decodes that in a French language. And then it produces another highly structured output. That's what the encoder-decoder network does. Basically, there is a different network to encode and there is a different network to decode. Then the sixth type are called GANs. Many times you'll hear people referring to GANs, which are generative adversarial networks. These are essentially the type of networks where there is a concept of generator and discriminator. Generator is a component that generates realistic data from the task it's provided. And there is another component called discriminator. It looks at the data that generator has produced and validates that data. And it actually is able to differentiate between the fake data that generator has produced and the real data that generator has produced. So the discriminator can differentiate between those two. And if the generator produces more fake data, the discriminator actually can penalize the generator. That way, generator gets opportunity to learn and get better over time. That's what the GANs are. And then seventh is called long short-term memory network. These are actually good for predictions. The concept here is simple. They retain the information. So basically, we provide more memory for them to retain information over a long period of time with an explicitly defined time to expiry. These are stored in memory cell until instructed to be forgotten by the forget key. That's the concept. And these are predominantly for, I think the best application for these type of network would be in our world would be to build a system in our payment network where we can actually approve or deny the transaction based on the transactional history, historical transaction data that we have. So, for example, if the transaction is coming from specific part of the world where fraud is more, then the um, predicting that this most probably could be fraudulent transaction, or is it not a fraudulent transaction? That type of application, that's where the LSTMs are best bet. And then the last one, this is the most important one for this conversation, is called transformer. Transformer is a type of artificial neural network that created this wave of invention in generative AI. The generative AI basis, open AI generative AI architecture, even for Google, their generative AI architecture is transformer. And I will have dedicated session on transformer architecture, but transformer is the type of artificial neural network. There are three core concepts in it. One is called encoder decoder network that we looked at here, that is used in transformer. Transformer also has something of attention mechanism, and third concept is called transfer learning. Those three concepts I'll explain you at length.